Throughout history, periods of apparent stability have often preceded major ruptures. Before the Second World War, global power was concentrated in a small group of nations that dominated industry, finance, and military forces. The war did not merely redraw borders, it dismantled long-standing hierarchies. Some powers managed to cross the chalk and adapt, others simply ceased to exist as centers of influence. The era that followed was shaped by a deep reorganization. A new international framework emerged, built on multilateral institutions, strong currencies, and permanent military alliances. For decades, this model sustained economic growth, political predictability, and a degree of control over global crises. Yet that balance was never spontaneous. It was maintained through concentrated power, the exclusion of rising actors, and structural dependence on a limited number of countries. Today, that framework has entered a critical phase. The world is no longer facing isolated crises, but an accumulation of pressures that point to a broader transition. Armed conflicts, trade disputes, economic sanctions, energy shocks, and technological competition are all part of the same process. The redistribution of global power. At the center of this dynamic, three countries exert decisive influence over the future of the planet: the United States, China, and Russia. The United States remains the most influential actor in the international system. Its military reach is still unmatched, its financial markets continue to set global trends, and its capacity for innovation defines technological standards. Yet the country now faces an unprecedented challenge: managing its dominant position in an environment where competitors operate outside the rules Washington helped design. American strategy has shifted toward containment, the strengthening of strategic partnerships, and the protection of critical sectors such as technology, energy, and defense. This is no longer about expanding influence, but about preventing its rapid erosion. China represents a force of a different nature. Its rise does not rely on direct confrontation, but on long-term planning and economic integration. Beijing has expanded its global presence through infrastructure investment, supply chains, financing, and technology. At the same time, it has consolidated internal control and accelerated the modernization of its military capabilities. The objective is not to immediately replace existing global leadership, but to create an environment in which that leadership is no longer uncontested. China operates at the pace of strategic patience, treating them itself as an ally. Russia, in contrast, acts as a disruptive power. With more limited economic resources, the country compensates through military strength, nuclear capabilities, energy influence, and a willingness to accept high levels of risk. Moscow uses prolonged conflicts, geopolitical pressure, and tactical alliances to maintain relevance and to prevent what it perceives as hostile forces from advancing in its sphere of influence. Its closer alignment with China reflects converging interests rather than ideological affinity. Both benefit from weakening a Western-led international order. What distinguishes the current moment from previous transitions is the way power is exercised. Contemporary conflicts rarely seek clear territorial conquest. Instead, they function as mechanisms of economic, psychological, and political attrition. The economy has become a battlefield, information is turned into a weapon, and instability itself is now a strategic tool. The consequences of these struggles are felt less en masse in modern everyday life, through inflation, energy insecurity, and financial volatility. The future of the planet will be shaped by this tense coexistence between cooperation and rivalry. A world with multiple centers of power tends to be more unpredictable, yet less prone to absolute domination. Major decisions will not be announced through historic speeches, but embedded in technical agreements, logistics networks, and silent investment choices. Some powers will lose ground, others will adapt, and new leaderships will emerge beyond the traditional radar. This is not a period of imminent collapse, but a profound redefinition. Those who see only chaos tend to react with fear. Those who understand structural movements recognize that every transition carries risks, but also opportunity. History is not accelerating, it is changing direction. and those who perceive that shift only will be better prepared for the world now taking shape.